What do you think? Are we ready? Yes, we're ready. Welcome to another I-CCEW final presentation. This is a terrific turnout. I see clients, I see friends, I see students and instructors, I see supporters. This is terrific. Thank you. We're very appreciative for you coming out and supporting the teams throughout the semester and here now at our final presentations. As you can see outside, the weather is amazing. The skies have cleared. The sky is blue. The sun is nice and warm. That's the effect that final presentations at I-CCEW have on the universe. Weather just turns out wonderful. This has been a terrific semester. I was struck as we were preparing for the final presentation here over the last week of just the intellectual candy store that we get to inhabit. Just amazing range of topics from education to the world of high finance and everything in between. Really, I think one of the things you should take away from today's presentation and also on Thursday for our final presentation in Oklahoma City is just the diversity and wealth of just fascinating topics that our teams get to work on. So it was a terrific semester from a project point of view, a terrific semester from our student point of view, and a little bit of change. Some of you may have noticed we are in a new space in the Innovation Hub. So more to come on that. We've made the initial move. We hope over this next summer, over the summer to improve the space, really make it a home for I-CCEW, and really make it a showpiece for the organization. We hope to have many more activities coming out of our new space as we move forward. I've had the opportunity this weekend to hear a talk by Ronnie, our namesake, while he was receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from Leadership Oklahoma. Now, I've heard his talks and leadership discussions many times. So one of the things he really focused on this was the topic of commitment. When you commit, great things happen. And I saw that today and over the course of the semester with our teams. They really committed, and two things happen when you commit. One is you get excellent work, and I think we had excellent work over the course of the semester, all culminating, and I think you'll see in these final presentations. Second thing you get is things you never could have imagined. Opportunities arise, new people to meet that you never thought you'd meet, new interests in an industry maybe you had no knowledge of before. By committing, good things happen. And so I think we saw both of these things this semester, and I appreciate the commitment of the teams throughout this entire semester. A big thanks to the staff for helping guide these teams. Big thanks to our clients and mentors that have been participants as part of the program. Let's get started.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. My name is Caitlin Cotelier.
And my name is Jamshed Karim Nazarov.
And we have had the honor of being this semester's SOBA team leads. The Software Business Accelerator team, or SOBA, partners an interdisciplinary team of consulting associates with software developers to create a new application or software and build a business around it. This semester, we had the honor of working with an exciting tech startup, Patient Inform, to launch a business that will help millions of ER patients every year. Working with I-CCEW this semester as business team lead has been an incredibly rewarding experience, and you'll get to meet the team in a second. But before then, I'd like to take some time to recognize each of them for their accomplishments. To start off, Himanshu was our powerhouse MBA student. He was consistently taking on the maximum amount of work and always impressed us with his takeaways. Wesley was our big idea guy. Often before any of us had even identified what we were looking at, Wesley had found the problem and come up with a plan to survey people for it. F.A. was always bringing a creative flair to the team. From his fun fashion sense to his passion for naming and forming our dynamic pricing model, F.A. was always impressing us with thinking outside the box. Gavin was our numbers hero on more than one occasion. He often had this ability to immerse himself in the math and come up with solutions that we didn't know were possible. And last, but certainly not least, Steph was our level head. She is perhaps the toughest person I have ever met, and she brought a much-needed perspective to the team.
And I am the team lead for the devs. Also got to work with 5 really amazing people, and I'll just say a couple of things about each one of them. Starting with the ladies, Emma, very structured and organized. She also took a lot of the notes during our meetings, and she would accept the calendar invites before I even sent them. And Christiana, also very organized. She made sure that our code comes together because it can get pretty messy when you're 5 people. And she kept us entertained in our group chats with her GIFs and emojis. And moving on to Amir, I loved his energy that he brought to the team, made it very fun. And he also uses a lot of Gen Z slang. And we ended up picking up some of that, so that was pretty interesting. Blake, he was always ready to take on a challenge, and he volunteered to lead our espionage workforce, which we essentially was like exploring competitors. Then moving on to Daniel, took a lot of the seat during our Flutter trainings, and we had an inside joke that he had a lot of connections in the CS department. And moving on to that, the staff, we really appreciate especially the work of Jeff and Cassandra for the support that they've given us. And also our fellow Peyton, she was an immense help. And for our client, John, for giving us this amazing opportunity to work for Patient Inform. And our Flutter instructor, Danielle Cox, we couldn't have done it without her. So yeah, I'll give the stage to the team and show them all the exciting work that they've done. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our final presentation. I'm Efe Poyraz.
I'm Wesley Bruce.
Gavin Nation.
Steph Uribe.
Himanshu Atwal.
I'm Blake Lee.
Emma Stubby. Christiana Karshelieva.
Daniel Yao.
Amir Ghazal.
And we're this semester's Software Business Accelerator team. SOBA consists of a developer side and a consulting side, and together we aim to accelerate the success of software businesses. This semester, we were so excited to work with Patient Inform, which is a healthcare tech startup from Tulsa, Oklahoma, aiming to improve patient experiences in emergency rooms. After 4 months of conducting research and interviews, we've discovered that by developing a mobile application that is easy to use and will solve overcrowding and wait time issues in the hospitals, Patient Inform can make up to $9 million in yearly net profit in a $54 million market.
Using these insights from the business team and designs from our client, John, the development team has been working to bring this innovative app to life. We've constructed a cross-platform application using Flutter, designed and implemented a HIPAA-compliant data flow from the hospital to our own databases, and conducted a user study and focus group with over 25 participants to test our application. We're excited to share with you guys what we've been building, and with that, I'll pass it off to Wes to start us off.
When patients enter the emergency room, they first check in at the front desk and are given a wristband before proceeding to triage, where the severity of their condition can be determined. Patients are ranked on a scale from 1 to 5, as you can see on the screen, with 1 being the most severe and 5 being the most minor. This ranking also determines the order in which patients are seen, with patients at higher levels being prioritized over patients at lower levels. This system can be frustrating and confusing to patients. Take, for example, one patient we came across over the course of our research. She was visiting the emergency room with her infant son who had sustained a head injury. She said, quote, "It felt like we were waiting forever," as she sat in the waiting room for 2 hours with little to no information about her son's care. Unfortunately, this is not a unique experience, so our founder envisioned Patient Inform to help patients with these issues. He challenged us with bringing his ideas to fruition, so our team conducted a patient experience survey to determine patients' key complaints. We learned that 2/3 of patients experience frustration with their wait time or confusion in the emergency room. Also, specifically after waiting more than 30 minutes, we learned that 2/3 of patients experience express confusion about their care. This problem is clearly widespread, since the average ER wait time in the United States is 2 hours and 44 minutes. Patient Inform can solve these issues for patients by providing them with personalized, real-time, wait time updates and next steps information. When polled, we learned that 91% of patients would be interested in Patient Inform. We validated this statistic with a survey of patients who left the ER before they were seen, or LWOBs, of which 85% said they would have stayed to receive care had they been provided with more frequent wait time updates. The implication of this being that when patients are kept happy and informed, hospitals can increase their bottom lines by retaining patients who otherwise would have left.
Patient Inform is a cross-platform application that will solve these issues for ER patients. To better understand this app, we will take you through the user journey and the functionality of the app. So upon checking in at the ER, patients can either download the app or access it through the web. So we chose to include both of these platforms because in our research and in our focus group, we found that the majority of users are unlikely to download a new app when prompted by a business. Then, once they've accessed the app, they'll be taken to the splash screen where they can log in using one of our authentication methods.
Patient data is extremely sensitive. This is why it needs to be ensured that the user who logs in is actually the patient in the ER. As a measure for this, Patient Inform supports several modes of authentication, which maintain ease of use while promoting security. Regardless of what Patient Inform's users choose as an authentication mode, their credentials will always be compared to the medical details associated with their medical record number. On the right, you can see Patient Inform's account options, where users can either create and log in with an account native to the Patient Inform platform, or they can choose third-party authentication, such as Google Authentication. Through our user study and focus group, we also identified the need for a faster authentication method, which is why we implemented the fast authentication track, which uses only the phone number, followed by a verification code. This is prompted by the dynamic of the ER. Once a user logs in, they will be brought to the homepage of the app.
So now let's quickly go over the interface of the app itself. Over on the left, you'll see the home page, the most prominent component of which is the estimated wait time counter, which offers patients kind of a rough idea of how long they'll have to wait before the next stage in their ER process. At the top of the screen is an app bar with buttons like the notification button, which will take you to the notifications page, as we'll see later on, the frequently asked questions page, which you can see over on the right displays information like how far back the user's history goes, any hidden charges, and other potential inquiries that a user might have. At the bottom, there's the navigation bar where you can swap between the home page, the current visit page, the history page, and the profile page, which, as you can see in the middle, displays information about the user, such as their name, their email address, and their phone number.
Also accessible from the home page are the visit details, current visit, and past visit history pages. These pages create a sense of transparency between hospitals and patients. So the visit details page displays key information such as date, reason for visit, treatments, and caretakers. The current visit page displays a dynamic timeline of visit updates. So as new updates come in, they'll be added to the end of this page. And then for returning users, the past visit history page shows an overview of past visits that have been registered with the app.
And what mobile app would be complete without a constant flood of notifications? Over on the left, you can see the Firebase console, which is what we use to send test notifications to the emulator running our app. And all of those notifications would potentially be visible on the right, the interface that you can see there, which displays any potential notifications that the user might receive, such as their CT analysis coming back, a triage nurse ready to see them, and other important information that they're going to want to have access to as soon as possible.
We'll now move into the back end of our application, which will describe how these features actually get your health data. Patient Inform will use a safe and efficient data pipeline to remain HIPAA compliant and to enhance the user experience through faster loading times. Your data starts at the hospital, where a doctor or nurse will upload your health data into their electronic medical record system, of which Epic and Cerner are the most widely used in our target market. Then, the new data is picked up and processed by Qvera, where it sends only the data we need to our database and discards the rest in a safe and efficient way. All of these tools use secure OAuth 2.0 authorization and tunnels to maintain HIPAA compliance and keep users' data safe as it moves throughout the process. Qvera processing eliminates all the unneeded data from Epic, which cuts our data storage costs by over 90%. Once this data goes through this flow, it ends up in our Google Cloud database.
Patient Inform will leverage Google Cloud Platform's cost-efficient automated backend services. Once the data is processed from Qvera, it is sent over to the Cloud Healthcare API through a HIPAA-compliant VPN tunnel, in which the Cloud Healthcare API will process the data. From there, it will be sent over to the Cloud Firestore, of which the database we chose. Just before the transfer, though, OAuth 2.0 will secure the endpoints in order to combat data breaches and data leaks. Once a user is logged in, their data is pulled from the Firestore database and displayed within the application relevant to their specific account. Firestore's efficient data retrieval and dynamic data structures allow for real-time updates. On the leftmost column, we have an example of the database. In this example, we chose patient records. In the middle column is an example of a patient after it has been processed from Qvera, and on the right-hand side are the fields accessible to that patient. Things such as age, phone number, ESI, triage index, etc.
So how does this app actually help hospitals, which is Patient Inform's client? Patient Inform can add both quantitative and qualitative value to hospitals by reducing LWOB rates and increasing medical staff job satisfaction. The national LWOB rate, or patients that leave the ER without being seen, is about 2%. Not only is this a problem for patients, but it leaves revenue on the table for hospitals. We estimate that hospitals that implement Patient Inform can increase their incremental revenue by about $550,000 per year after adding the cost of Patient Inform.
So how does this affect the medical staff? We have done various research, and they all indicate that staff has about two most common things that impact their experiences with their job. First, we have an interview from an ER travel nurse, Davina Xenia, who testifies that patients become very mean to nurses when they have a long wait time. A lot of this is due to confusion. Patient Inform's personalized wait times will go ahead and take care of any confusion and improve communication in order to better the patient's experience, therefore allowing them to be less frustrated with the nurses. Next, we have overcrowding. A lot of overcrowding is due to patients going to the emergency room for non-urgent injuries. This then is responsible for 4.3% of ER nurse turnover. Patient Inform publishing local wait times of other hospitals that use Patient Inform will allow patients to better allocate themselves based on capacity and wait time.
So we just looked at how Patient Inform can help a single hospital, but how many hospitals can Patient Inform serve? Patient Inform's initial target market includes 396 hospitals, which is valued at $54.2 million of annual revenue. To get this number, we started with the total number of US hospitals, which is about 6,100. We then narrowed that down to a target market of about 2,300 hospitals in the US. These are all US urban hospitals, and this target market is valued at $323 million of annual revenue. From there, we narrowed that down even further to an initial target market of 396 hospitals, which are all classified as urban hospitals and are located in a 6-state target market region: Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Colorado. We chose this 6-state target market region because Patient Inform's CEO currently has connections to hospital systems already in these 6 states. This 6-state initial target market region is valued at $54.2 million of annual revenue.
Now on to their competitors. Patient Inform has various competitors, but they should focus on their closest competitor in order to successfully enter the market. As you can see, Patient Inform has various categories of competitors, but their closest is Vital.io. This does not mean that they cannot successfully enter the market. To successfully enter the market, Patient Inform should leverage their advantages, such as the communications with regional hospitals, and also take advantage of the fact that Vital.io is shifting their growth towards more ambulatory and urgent care systems.
Talking about business model, Patient Inform will succeed in the US market by bridging the gap between hospitals and patients through AI, making $80,000 profit per hospital. By filling this gap, Patient Inform is helping hospitals to retain $686,000 per year. In exchange, they are just charging 20% of that retention amount, calculating $137,000 per year. While we were working on the financials for Patient Inform, we came across a lot of variable and fixed costs. However, the most substantial expenses that we came across is the data storage and employee salaries. When a patient visits an ER, they usually generate 80 megabytes of data. Considering 75,000 patient visits for a hospital in a year, that's 6,000 gigabytes of data. The cost identified to store that data is around $30,600. There will be a lot of new employees hired by the end of year 3, and the salary expense will increase over 200%. By the end of year 5, Patient Inform's employee directory will have account managers, software developers, product manager, CTO, COO to maintain the level of growth in the market. Patient Inform must acquire a HIPAA license in order to exchange sensitive information with hospitals. This license has to be renewed every year, and the cost of its renewal is $8,000. Considering this business model, Patient Inform has an expense of approximately $57,000 to acquire one hospital. Now let's zoom out and look at the financial projections for the next 5 years.
Okay, well, speaking about the financials, a dynamic pricing model and a 90% growth rate allows Patient Inform to profit $8.4 million in their 5th year. Looking at our 5-year financial projection, we can see that Patient Inform can mark exponential growth, all while allowing enough time to refine their system and pilot in their early years. Also, as a benefit of being a medical IT company that acquires low cost, Patient Inform can also break even from their 1st year. Now, a 90% growth rate has been calculated through a bottom-up market analysis that was benchmarked to our competitors. Finally, in order to maximize value and profit, we recommend Patient Inform to implement a dynamic pricing model. This dynamic pricing model has an adjustable region and yearly ER visits component. Using these, Patient Inform can adjust their pricing to each hospital according to the value add it brings. And thank you.
In regard to technological development, Patient Inform's next steps are to hire a software developer and refine their app prototype, as well as implement the AI machine learning model to estimate wait times.
And from the business side, our first recommendation for Patient Inform is to acquire a HIPAA license and get the legal counsel to initiate the process of pilot project. By the end of year 2024, we recommend Patient Inform to acquire utility patent and launch their pilot project. In the beginning of year 2025, we believe Patient Inform will be ready to roll in the market. Again, thank you so much for joining us here today. The floor is open for the questions.
One question for more of the developers and one question for more of the business sides. But for the developers, what would the process look like from the healthcare provider standpoint? Because my mindset is that doctors are probably moving from patient to patient, and I was just curious on what the process would look like from their perspective.
Thank you for the question. So your question was what the process would look like or the changes that would need to be done as far as the hospital workers to implement this app. And talking to John, our client, one of our biggest goals from the start was that doctors or nurses wouldn't have to change the processes they went through already in the ER, just because changing anything in that process could take a lot of convincing for hospitals and for doctors and nurses. So the way they go through their operations now, by seeing patients and uploading data to an EMR system, that will be the exact same with Patient Inform, because we pull all the data out on the back end after they've uploaded it to their EMR system in the same way.
And then on the business side, you mentioned a 90% growth rate based on your competitors. Did you look into the key factors in which your competitors base those assumptions?
The question was, did we look at the key factors in basing our assumptions? Yes, we did consider a bunch of key assumptions. Some of these include some hospitals will discontinue continuing using the patient-informed service, and we included the discontinuation rate. We've included increasing employees, and we've given every salespeople a specific amount of hospitals to convert, and we've just taken an average of it, and there were plenty other factors that went into calculating these growth rate. I hope that answered your question.
This is a question more for the business team. You said that there's a 90% growth rate. How do you kind of anticipate Patient Informed can actually start acquiring their customers, and do you see any challenges that they might face in that very steep growth rate?
So the question was, do we anticipate any problems that might occur during the initial growth phase? So our plan for Patient Inform is to launch a pilot program at the beginning of 2025, and our CEO, John, is already in talks with multiple hospitals that wants to do this once the AI and the app is developed. So the problems that might occur is maybe that happens later than we think or we plan on. And yes, did that answer your question? Yes. Okay.
Hi, I had a question for the business team. So you said you had a target market of about 200 to 300 hospitals in like 6 states. Have you guys talked to any of these hospitals to see like the feasibility of actually implementing the app and how long it would take, since it's projected to be later in 2025?
Yes. So the question was, have we talked to any of these hospitals within this initial target market region? Yes, we have talked to multiple hospitals in this initial target market region. We estimate a purchasing timeline of about 8 to 10 months to first begin negotiations with Patient Informed to actual implementation of Patient Informed. We have time for one more question.
I have questions for the developers. The project is really exciting, and I wonder how will the patient interact with the application, and how does that make the experience in the emergency room less stressful for them?
Thank you. So the question was, how does the patient actually interact with the app? So there are several features that will enhance the ER experience for the patients. So the main one being notifications or updates about their visit, keeping them informed along the way about their visit, as well as on the home screen, it displays the wait time for them so they can know approximately when they're going to be seen. And then they can also access lots of various details about their visit that can keep them informed.
And thank you. We will have a demo in the lobby if anyone is interested. Thank you for your time.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Lubama, and I'm the team leader for the Oklahoma Funding Accelerator, OFA. This semester, I had the amazing opportunity of working alongside 4 extremely intelligent, passionate, and very witty interns. They each brought a unique dynamic to the team, and I'm so excited to introduce them to you. First off, we had Marie. She had an amazing sense of humor, always able to light up the room. I've never met anybody that is so great at networking with people and relating to people. Kyle, one of the most kind interns I know, always willing to go the extra mile, even if it means getting on a Zoom call with a client at 7 in the morning. Rashawn, the absolute definition of resilience. She will go to the extent of coding a whole entire website to analyze some data for some new insights. And finally, Chris, one of the most busiest people I know. However, he's such a go-getter, and his determination to succeed truly inspires me. With that, they have worked together tirelessly the whole entire semester to provide some new insights for their clients. And I'm honored to introduce to you the OFA Spring 2024 interns.
OFA operates a little bit differently than each of the other consulting teams. Each one of our 4 consulting associates takes on a one-on-one consulting approach with their client to help identify any opportunities or issues that the client is seeing within the project. My name is Chris Ortiz, and this semester I have had the privilege of working with Forza. Forza is a private outpatient physical therapy clinic that aims to launch a research institute. They are based out of Augusta, Maine, and will serve the Kennebec County. They are co-founded by Paul Abbey and Dr. Dirk Kochmeyer. Forza launched in September 2023, and Paul Abbey is the only fellowship-trained certified hand therapist in the state of Maine. Forza can focus on these common injuries within the niche Maine sports early in their development. As you can see by the table provided, there's a breakdown for fly fishing, skiing, surfing, and bow hunting, along with the amount of participants nationwide, the injuries per year, the most common injury in each sport, the relevancy of participation within each sport, and the amount of research articles that are published. Forza has expertise with shoulder and knee injuries due to Dr. Dirk Kochmeyer's experience in the field, and they specialize in finger and hand injuries with the certifications that Paul Abbey has. As you can see on the table, there is very limited research for fly fishing within shoulder injuries and very limited research within finger and hand injuries with bow hunting, which makes these 2 sports and these 2 injuries the best market entry for Forza to pursue early in their development. Forza will create a nonprofit research institute to boost insights within Maine-specific sports. Forza, launching in September 2023, developed a residency program to help them facilitate their workflow with the exponential patient visit growth that they saw in their early on months. Now, this residency program will funnel residents into the Research Institute itself. The Research Institute has incurred fixed costs of $17,120 to $28,620 that will include membership fees, publication fees, a study overhead budget, and residence tuition. Funding will come specifically from grants, philanthropy, CROs, which are contract research organization, and clinical trials, and other research. Specifically from grants through APTA, the American Physical Therapy Association, and OREF, the Orthopedic Research Education Foundation, they can approximately receive $92,500 in funding. And specifically from philanthropy within patient donations, from a survey conducted, they can receive supplemental funding of $18,000 annually from patient donations, and it opens the window for organizational donations to help supplement Forza's research efforts. Forza's financial projections will have a total net income of $82,640 within the first 3 years. As you can see in the table provided, there's a breakdown for the expenses, the revenues, and the net profit year by year that Forza will see. By year 3, there will be 3 residents doing research, as each year there will be a new clinic that will open up to help facilitate the workflow. With some benchmarking that was conducted, 60 out of 94 nonprofit medical, muscle, and nerve research institutes in the nation have revenues below $250,000, which lets Forza fall into this pool within their early development, making it relevant. Forza's next steps will allow them to boost their reputation and increase their funding by searching for possible research partners, establish residents' interest in the research itself, and hiring a possible grant finder. Thank you, and I'll be passing it off to Kylie.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. My name is Kylie, and this semester I've had the pleasure of working with Zence Chief Technology Officer, Sangatha, as well as Zence co-founders, Shalini and Soumya. Zence is a software development company that aims to launch Thedo, a software-as-a-service platform aimed at streamlining hiring processes. Zence was founded with its headquarters in Oklahoma and in 4 other states, and an office in India. It currently has a customer base of 85% Global 1000 companies and Fortune 500 companies. Zence's main products are in human capital management, which will include Thedo. Thedo will have a project matching and candidate recommendation engine, and it will have the ability to be integrated with existing hiring software and applicant tracking systems. Thedo should target an initial target market of 91,260 IT companies that currently use an applicant tracking system within their hiring process. This is because IT currently has the highest turnover rate of any industry, and there are currently 585,000 companies within the United States, which makes for a very large market. 75% of recruiters currently use an applicant tracking system, and of this, 65% use the 4 most popular applicant tracking systems as of 2023, which will make for easier integration with Thedo. This brings us to our initial target market of 91,260 IT companies. Thedo will create a hiring pipeline of the most qualified candidates according to a company's preferences, and this will be done through the following business model. Human resources teams and hiring managers within an IT company will make the decision to integrate Thedo to their existing hiring software. This will be done through a $200 one-time addition fee, followed by a $60 monthly subscription fee paid per user. Thedo will then use AI to talent and project match candidates to different projects within the company. This will be done through curated lists of projects within the company and hiring managers. This will create a customized hiring pipeline of the most qualified candidates from 3 different streams, including contractors and new candidates, both of which will be sourced from current applicant tracking systems, as well as internal candidates. To validate this business model, I interviewed Brian Phillips, a recruiter with HP, who mentioned that candidate matching is a great feature, especially for internal candidates looking for projects aligned with their backgrounds. With an average growth rate of 30% per year, Thedo could see profits of up to $1.8 million by its 5th year on the market. These numbers were calculated using a minimum of 50 companies using Thedo within its first year, some of which will be Zient's current customer base, and a minimum of 20 users per company. Data shows that the average growth rate of most software-as-a-service platforms is 30% per year, which will lead to Zient's profit by its 5th year at $1.8 million. Zient's next steps will include securing funding for Thedo through either venture capital firms or angel investors, hiring developers for Thedo, and lastly, starting the development process. Thank you very much. I'll pass it on to Roshan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Roshan. This semester, I have the pleasure of working with Steve, CEO of Donut Stock, a company that is based in Houston, Texas. Donut Stock is a financial tech company that helps nonprofit organizations with receiving stock donations. So far, they've served 600 nonprofit organizations and 950 donors. Donut Stock aims to increase their customer base and their revenue. To do so, they should focus on 18 million potential donors and 156,000 nonprofit organizations. There are 69 million US individuals who own stocks that can be donated to charity. To investigate this market further, a survey was taken. The survey showed that only 25% of the respondents were positive, showing positive response for stock gifting. This brings up to a number of 18 million potential donors. There are 1.2 million nonprofit organizations in the US. Based on the survey and interview, usually nonprofit organizations with revenue higher than $600,000 showed positive response in implementing stock gifting for their organization. In addition to this, the data shows that top 12% of nonprofit, based on revenue, accounts for over 92% of the nonprofit funding. Therefore, Donut Stock should focus on these 12% nonprofit organizations which have revenue higher than $500,000. Based on the survey and interview with 30 nonprofit organizations, different responses were found in different interests of Donut Stock. The insights found were, first, large nonprofit organizations such as OU Foundation, Homeless Alliances didn't prefer being charged percentage-based fee. Secondly, there were few nonprofit organizations that already had stock donations in their place. However, they were interested still in the feature that Donut Stock provides, which is donor transparency. And lastly, there was a significant lack of donor awareness in stock gifting field and brand awareness about Donut Stock among some of the nonprofit organizations. So these insights suggest a change in the working current model of Donut Stock. So far, they charge $75 per month or 3% depending on the sizes of different nonprofit organizations. Based on the interview, as nonprofit believe that every dollar from the donor should go towards their mission, we could shift the percentage from nonprofit organization to the donor side. Donor stock can charge a monthly subscription fee to nonprofit organizations and percentage-based fee to donor. These prices were validated through an interview with a potential stock donor and nonprofit organization OU Foundation. In addition to this, the data shows that 2% is the minimum charge that any financial tech company charges for using credit card for donation purpose. In the next 5 years, Donut Stock is able to generate a revenue 8% more with the new model than the current working model, with a target growth of donor 9% and nonprofit organization 12%. Lastly, as we can see from the chart, that every year in all the 5 projected years, new model consistently generates more revenue than the current working model. The next step for Donut Stocks are going to be pilot test the pricing changes, investigate the cost and capital required to support the user interface and backend changes necessary, and finally partner with large nonprofit organization groups such as Oklahoma Center for Nonprofit to increase their marketing efforts. Thank you. Now I'm going to pass it on to Murray.
Thank you, Roshan. My name is Muria Kroflin, and this semester I've been working with OK Respond and Kid-Bation. Those are 2 organizations that collaborate to provide a youth entrepreneurship program for at-risk middle school students. In this partnership, OK Respond takes on organizational and administrational tasks, while Kid-Bation provides the curriculum. This curriculum teaches students how to develop and launch their own product. It is taught to students by police officers, which is why OK Respond and Kid-Bation collaborate with the Oklahoma City Police Department and Police Athletic League. OK Respond and Kid-Bation are aiming to expand to more cities across the United States, and within this expansion, they could reach a potential target market of 3,500 middle schools and 420 Police Athletic League chapters. An ideal school for collaboration is located in a city or suburb, has more than 500 students and police officers on site. This ensures that the school is located close to a police department that is already engaged in youth outreach, as well as that the school has a diverse student body with at-risk students, and finally, that there are officers on site that can recruit the students for the program. On a Police Athletic League chapter side, the 420 potential chapters should be targeted that already run mentorship programs using a curriculum. This will make it very easy to implement the entrepreneurship curriculum by Kid-Bation. So how can these 420 potential partners make actual partners? Based on an interview with Deputy Chief Clifton of the Oklahoma City Police Department, this business model was developed. It concludes that the cost of acquiring 1 new location is 20 work hours and $500. First, OK Respond will need to reach out to the Community Relations Office of the new location. From there, they will be connected to an individual within the police department that is heavily involved in youth outreach. Together with this partner, they will be able to pitch their program to the police chief, who's the deciding stakeholder in this process. In this pitch, it is very important that OK Respond demonstrate their credibility as a partner, the low impact the program has on the police department financially, and the great impact this program has on the students. Once the program is approved for execution by the chief, OK Respond will provide support in launching this program in the new location, as well as the first curriculum license. The cost of running this program in any location is at most $28,000. Knowing the workload of acquiring 1 new location, as well as the fact that OK Respond has the budget to hire 3 full-time employees within the first 5 years, it turns out that OK Respond has a capacity to expand to 250 new locations within the first 5 years. To meet the workload every year, they should hire an admin in year 1, marketing professional in year 3, and a program director in year 5. A starting capital of $95,000 is required to start this expansion program. At the same time, Kid-Bation will gain a revenue of $375,000 over the first 5 years, as their $500 curriculum license needs to be renewed yearly in every location. Finally, the next steps for Kid-Bation and OK Respond include marketing the program for program expansion, as well as seeking business donation and applying for grants, and finally hiring an admin. Thank you very much. With that, we're ready for all the questions. Yes, please.
I have one for two different companies, if that's all right.
That's totally fine.
First question for Zence.
Zion.
I noticed in your financial model that the costs don't really increase over the 5-year period. For a SaaS program, I would have thought that it would have more of a linear track. Can you explain that more?
So the first year, the question was, why don't the costs increase across the 5 years? The first year has an initial cost that will include development process, hiring the developers, as well as marketing and implementing security features. For the first year, that means the cost will be higher than the next 5 years. The next 5 years will include costs for marketing, keeping on the developers for the program, and implementing new features to scale the program. And the cost was estimated to be the same for those next 5 years. Thank you.
For OK Respond now, did you do any research or feedback to your client on what happens if the direct sales efforts take twice to 4 times as long as the anticipated? Like, what does that do to impact the success of the program? Just direct sales can sometimes take a lot longer to get in front of the right people and fix them.
So the question was, how would direct sales impact the expansion process? Is that correct?
Yeah.
What exactly do you mean by direct sales?
Well, you had a timeline laid up of 2 hours to reach out to the first entity, and then 6 hours to get in front of the police chief, and then 2 hours. It might take 6 months to get the meeting with the police chief, is my point. Does that impact the model if it's not as streamlined as it may seem?
Okay. Yes, that definitely impacts the model. So based on the interviews I've done, I've talked to many locations that already run youth outreach programs and talked to the police officers. And based on the information I gained from the interviews, it should not be too difficult to get the meeting with the police chief, because amongst police officers there's a common belief that doing youth outreach is the most effective way to prevent crime, so it has a high priority within every police department. So therefore, most police chiefs and officers that already work in youth outreach are very interested in this program. So a long timeline to reach the police chief was not necessarily a problem that was brought up to me. Could still happen, but ideally a location would be chosen for expansion where a police chief is really interested in this program. Yes, please.
It wasn't when you say $60 per user, is it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday?
The question is the $60 monthly subscription fee per user for the applicant or for the company? The answer is it's for the company. So users will be given access to Thadol once they're hired by the company, but the $60 per user is definitely for hiring managers or recruiters within the company, and this will help them kind of select different candidates according to their preferences.
For Donate Stock, how do you plan to increase brand awareness with these nonprofits and donors moving forward?
So the question is, how can we increase donor awareness and brand awareness about Donate Stock? So the most easy one would be to hire a marketing professional, but that would be very expensive for the company. So what company itself, Donate Stock, can do is partner with large nonprofit organizations groups, such as Oklahoma Center for Nonprofit in Oklahoma. There's one in Texas and all different states. They have an outreach up to almost like thousands nonprofit of organizations where they can pay for membership and sponsor the booth and luncheon. The second thing they could do is partner with trading platforms for donors, such as Webull or Robinhood, where you can make an easy implementation of donating stocks. And lastly, you could also, I guess that's all I have. Thank you.
There's time for one more question. Yes, please.
How can Forza increase their impact? How could they grow this to be larger or more impactful as a program?
So the question is, how can Forza create a bigger impact going forward? It all depends on the amount of residents that they can intake year by year. So as you can see through the model, in the first year, there's only one resident. But Forza has such a significant outreach within Dr. Dirk Kochmeyer's network and experience, and the same thing with Paul Abbey. Bringing in more residents and specifically finding grants that are study-specific for these residents to do the research will definitely increase insights into these common injuries that we see within sports.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Celine Polepole, and I'm the team lead for this semester for the Agile product design team. The APD team this semester has been trusted with the responsibility of driving growth at Western Industry Corporation, our client company, creating a new business line through a product, a dog crate. It has been a transformative and one-of-the-kind experience for me as a team lead and also for the team who is able to tackle the project with openness, creativity, and strategy. The team and I would like to thank Mr. Quick for entrusting us with this project and for his availability. Also would like to thank our fellows, Peyton, Cass, Sarah, Ashlyn, Jeff, and Alyssa, our mentor, for supporting the team through the process. Without further ado, I would like to present to you the Spring 2024 APD team.
Are you worried about your dog feeling lonely when they're in their crates? Well, say goodbye to that. I'm Vera.
Yvette.
Maro.
Nifemi.
And with the Agile product design team, also known as the APD team. This semester, the APD team is working with the Western Industries Corporations, also known as WIC, which is a family-owned company specialized in customized packaging to offer optimal solutions to its clients globally. This semester, the APD team is working with WIC to find the best product within the best market to ensure the business that is primarily packaging enters the retail market with the most successful outcome. The APD team has thoroughly looked into the market identification, the product development, and the sales strategy to help the business launch the product. After analyzing 5 different markets and 6 different products, the acrylic dog crate was identified to be the best product, offering a potential profit of about $4.3 million in the next 5 years. The acrylic dog crate does not only offer the most money out of all the other options, it also aligns with the business manufacturing capabilities.
WIC is capable of entering the retail market because of its available manufacturing capabilities. Currently, WIC goes through a couple of processes to ensure that they manufacture the best packaging solution for their client. The process starts with meeting the clients to understand their needs. They move into designing, prototyping, and testing of the packaging product. Next, they manufacture the packaging product, package it, and ship it to the client. Currently, WIC offers both in-house and on-site packaging to their clients, depending on their needs. Once WIC joins the retail market, they'll be manufacturing their own product. The process will start with designing their own product, followed by prototyping and testing to ensure that it meets the specification. WIC will move into manufacturing and manufacturing the packaging at the same time. Next, they'll do shipping to their potential distributors.
Identifying the market, product development process, and sales strategy will help WIC succeed in any retail market. You may be wondering, how will WIC transition from packaging manufacturer to consumer good manufacturer? Well, here's an overview of the journey WIC could adopt. Let's first start with the market identification. The team looked at 5 different markets and 5 different products, and it was evaluated by market size, growth rate, material, and manufacturing compatibility. After evaluating those criteria in consultation with the client, the team understood that the task in hand involved maximizing WIC's material supply output. And dog crate and kennels market was the market that best satisfied those criteria and met the supply output. Let's look at the product development. The product development processes needed for the product will be used that WIC has. In this case, CNC cutting machines and stitching will be used for the cushion of the dog crate. Lastly, the sales strategy that WIC could adopt when producing this product is white labeling the product, which is essentially manufacturing a product and selling it to a retailer, and then the retailer brands it at his own. Lastly, for the distribution method, WIC could adopt a wholesale distribution method more than consignment. That was done because a wholesale approach gives them immediate profit and alleviates them from focusing on marketing and advertising strategies and sticks their focus on manufacturing the product. WIC also has an option of selling the product on Amazon. Let's look more into the market. WIC will sell a $400 acrylic dog crate to 1.44 million potential users. To better understand the target market WIC is going to reach with this product, number of dog owner households was looked in the United States. Out of 127 million households, 16 million were dog owners. And the biggest sector out of those 68 was 30 million. And those 30 million were small dog owners. And out of those 30 million, 1.44 million were identified as a target market. The assumptions that the team made to get from 68 million to 1.44 is that 48% of dog owners own small dogs. According to the survey that the team did, 20% of survey respondents liked the acrylic dog crate design. And according to a pet statistics survey ran by Forbes, 28% of dog owners have always enough funds to support their pets, even in time of crisis.
The design of the dog crate prioritizes the pet's comfort and the ease of assembly. As seen in the slide, the design of the dog crate evolved as research and surveys were conducted. We first started with a cubic acrylic dog crate, but then we quickly moved to an assembly type crate, which is similar to an IKEA product. This resulted in a clear optical acrylic crate, which we have a prototype of down here. The prototype was made for a small dog. This crate prioritizes the pet's comfort, as seen with the air vents, which are in forms of circles and in paw shapes. Finally, we also added fasteners to secure the pet inside the crate, and WIC is also able to provide a foam cushion that would help to further enhance the pet's comfort.
The 7-part acrylic dog crate streamlines packaging while minimizing damage using microfoam. As for the design and the material of the packaging of the crate, WIC will utilize its 275 BC Craft corrugated paper box it already uses in its everyday use, and to place the acrylic sheets inside. As for in between the sheets, 16th of an inch microfoam will be used. That material will be used to minimize damage while the packaging is in transportation. Secondly, the size of the packaging box will match the size of the crate. Some of the other features the packaging box is going to include is going to have the carrying handles on the top of the box. It will also, as you can see, the foam cushion is inside, and will also be packed in the same box as the acrylic dog crate. And lastly, as the crate is open to assembly, the appropriate instructions will be placed on the box for the user to see.
WIC's dog crate design addresses the need for easy assembly and easy cleaning, setting it apart from its competitors. Although Petco and PetSmart own 43% of the dog market, they do not offer a crate that is made out of acrylic. Only Hidden and Pretty Kennels have that option. However, WIC's crate is able to combine all the features that both Hidden and Pretty Kennels have and do so at a competitive price. This price was set because of the assembly design of our crate, which makes it easy to manufacture, and also because WIC already has the available acrylic material at their disposal.
we could make a profit of $162 per pet crate from wholesale and Amazon. The process will start with the suppliers of acrylic sheet and fasteners to WIC, where WIC will pay around $238 for the manufacturing cost per dog crate. From there, WIC will move into designing, prototyping, and manufacturing the dog crate. At the same time, WIC could be manufacturing the packaging for the dog crate. Once WIC is done with manufacturing, they will do distribution to the potential distributors who are hidden and pretty canals, while also selling on Amazon. We could be able to make a profit of $100 per dog crate from the distributors, while also making the same profit from Amazon. However, Amazon comes with extra cost, which includes the 15% of the product selling fee and the $40 for the subscription fees. However, good news, our client was able to overcome this cost through the business connections. So they'll be making the same amount of money, which is $400, from the potential distributors and Amazon. The dog crates will be distributed to the end users by the potential distributors and Amazon.
With a growth rate of 7.7%, we could potentially make $4.3 million in profit in the next 5 years through wholesale and $700,000 using Amazon. Let's skip to the good part. As it can be seen on the screen, the left-hand bars represent the cost with wholesale in dark blue and Amazon in orange. The middle parts represent the revenue with wholesale in dark green and Amazon in light blue. The profits is represented by the right-hand bars with wholesale in purple and Amazon in light green. The revenue was calculated based on 4,080 crates that will potentially be sold through wholesale per year and 600 crates through Amazon. The cost comes from raw materials, shipping, packaging, and other operating expenses. As it can be seen, both options will be viable for the company and will both give profits. However, the wholesale route gives more profit considering that there will be more crates sold compared to Amazon.
Good news is the team was able to get a prototype of the dog crate on small scale, as you can see. Moving forward, we could need to start with reaching out to the potential distributors who are hidden and pretty canals. From there, they'll need to train the workers on using the machines that will be used to manufacture the dog crates. We could also need to finalize the design of the dog crates, which will include prototyping using different sizes of the dog crates. They'll also need to finalize on the needed materials needed to manufacture the acrylic dog crate. Next, we could manufacture the dog crate, also while manufacturing the packaging. The last step will be selling to the potential distributors and Amazon. Thank you. That is the end of our presentation. We're now open for questions.
Yes? Yep.
Have you guys done any research on, do dogs like acrylic crates versus other types of crates?
So the question was if we did any research on if dogs like acrylic crates versus other type of crate. We conducted an interview with a professional dog walker, and she told us that most dogs get stressed and they get put inside the metal wire crates, and they always try to get out of the crate because it feels like a cage to them. And she said that having an acrylic crate where the dog can see through will make him feel more comfortable as he doesn't feel like he's encaged.
Also, we asked the dogs, but they couldn't speak back. So we referred to our survey as 20% of our survey respondents liked our dog crate design.
Yes?
What were your biggest design complications and how did you overcome it?
The question was, what was the biggest design complication and how did we overcome it? The biggest design complication was having an assembly type crate, as it is very hard to make very small pieces of acrylic. In terms of the fastener, we had to go with brace and we had to go with like metal screws because acrylic is very easy to break and it wouldn't have the efficient torque load when trying to fasten all of the holes. Yep.
It seems that your crate is for like in-home use only. Have you done any research on whether people buy crates for just their home or they buy it to travel with? Like have you done any research on that?
the question was if we did research concerning if people like it to be fixed or if they want to travel with it. Well, we did research on both sides, but with the features that we're going for in the design, looking at the market, it was more viable to have it, because with the crate that we have, it can still be used traveling, but you won't be traveling with your dog inside. So the concern was not really traveling with your dog, but it was having your dog being able to stay in their habitat whenever you're home or whenever you're traveling. That was the main concern we were looking at.
Yes? So the question was, how did we decide on the sizes of the crate? The sizes was based on the different dog sizes. There are like 4 different dog sizes. There's the small dog size, which is for French bulldogs, and then there's the medium, there's the large, and there's the extra large, depending on the type of dog. The prototype that we have here is for a very small dog size, and the reason why we went with a small one was because we wanted to prototype our product and we wanted to be time efficient with it. Yes? So the question was about the durability of our product. So as the product was designed using CAD softwares, I ran some stress and strain tests on it, which means that basically I was able to simulate the durability of the product. And based on the size of the crate, we have different thickness for the acrylic sheet, thus the dog will not be able to break through the crate. We only have time for one more question. Yes?
Did you test the airflow through the crate?
The question was if we tested the airflow to the crate. The airflow to the crate was tested using a SolidWorks simulation tool. We didn't have enough time to put it through a wind tunnel because we just got the prototype today, but that will be something that we can do in the future. Thank you.
Grab the dog crate.
Oh, yes. My name is Kingsley, and this is... Yeah, so we worked on the visit track, right? You guys are the consultant, and we just worked on the visit track. And we are a team of 6. Fortunately, we're just 2 here, but we represent everyone. But let me start with this. Do not leave OU without, or the I-CCEW without doing the visit track. You think Jeff is amazing, right? You need to come over to the visit track to see how resourceful he is. And you think Cass is wonderful, but have you seen the perfect combo of Cass and Buyana? You don't want to miss this, right? You want to be in the visit track. But ultimately, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur or a business professional, you want to start thinking like an investor, right? You want to have a product out there. So you get to start thinking as an investor, and this is what helps you with that, right? But you would ask me, well, Kingsley, what do you do in the visit track? It's just like the consulting. So in consulting, you have client A, right? So you're working for client A, and you're helping the company with commercialization or whatever be the case. But in the visit track, you have a company A, a client, your company A, and then the company A has an interest in company B, right? Wants to invest in this other company, right? And so you're working for this client, you're conducting a due diligence on company B under the terms of company A, right? So it depends on where the client is, the company B is. It could be an early stage company, right? And you're working on desirability, the financial feasibility and all that. But whatever be the case, it is the same thing. It's you conducting due diligence. It is you saying by the end of the day, building something, an investment memo that will help the investor say, well, should I invest in this or not? And then it's gonna give us a rundown of some of the projects we did. But like I said before, do not leave without get into the VC track. Demi.
You can go to the next one. All right, thank you. So some of the projects we did about 9 projects this semester. One of them was Rhythm. It's a software as a service firm that essentially uses machine learning models to streamline and simplify medical operations and processes. Another was Physits. Physits was a fintech company that is trying to transform the B2B payments for oil and gas companies. One of my favorite ones was Stealth & Co. It's an engineering startup that is essentially having an economically advantageous and environmentally friendly way of transforming methane into helpful or less harmful gases. All right, so yeah, those are some of the examples of some of the projects we've worked on. And what we gained, all right, saying this is a semester-long project, and we've worked on about 9 projects. It's relatively fast-paced, but it's very extensive and comprehensive. So there are a lot of things we can learn, or a lot of things we learned from this, and a lot of skills we developed as well. All right, and these are some of the main ones. The first is conducting due diligence. All right, so analyzing markets, analyzing the competition within these markets, the business models, and the teams, which includes the founders and whatnot, and then compiling all this research into writing, into an investment memo, clearly expressing our findings and decisions in a strategic way, and then talking with our investment committees, which is our team, and the teams of those are our clients as well. Right, so that's essentially what we do in the VC track. We will not be taking questions, but then if you have any questions, feel free to meet any of us at the lobby, and we feel free, we can answer and whatnot. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm Santosh Vikramasinghe, and I've had the privilege of working with the social entrepreneurship team this semester. And my time as a team lead was nothing short of eventful and rewarding. And I have few people to thank for it. Firstly, from the team, I have Piers. I thank you for the dedication and commitment that you brought to the project. No matter how early I try to come to a team meeting, Piers would always beat me to it, and he'll be sitting, waiting to share the insights of the day. Next, I have Samantha. I'm thankful for your admirable work ethic. She traveled extensively this semester. She traveled so much, her laptop did not know what time zone she was, but throughout all of this, she was able to stay on top of what is required. Last, but certainly not least, I have Sophia. I'm thankful for the passion you've brought to the project. She was never scared of taking the extra step that is necessary to ensure that we have the most right insights on the table. I would also like to thank the I-CCEW staff and our fellows, Sarah, Ashlyn, Peyton, Kaz, and Jeff, to guiding us through this amazing journey. And finally, I'd like to thank the Bridges Foundation for entrusting us with this crucial project, specifically the CEO, Carrie Jordan, and CPO, Nikki Jelly. It was an honor to work with you, with an organization that has a history so long and a cause that's so noble. But without further ado, now I present to you the social entrepreneurship team.
Hello, everyone. We're the Social Entrepreneurship team. My name is Sofia Torres, and I'm studying Public and Nonprofit Administration.
I'm Samantha Hepburn, and I'm an economics major.
And I'm Pierce Hudgens, and I'm studying Finance and Entrepreneurship.
This semester, we have the wonderful privilege of working with Bridges Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that provides employment opportunities currently to 120 individuals with disabilities in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Currently, they are facing a demand that exceeds its capacity to accommodate its clients, as is evidenced with their current waiting list of 80 individuals. Therefore, they have planned to build 2 new facilities that will cost $28 million. After 200 hours of research and 16 interviews, our work this semester was to create a business plan for Bridges to make this expansion a reality. We developed a financial model that demonstrates that they can afford a $10 million loan. Furthermore, we have developed that two alternatives such as buying and renting that they can potentially use to also solve this capacity issue. And finally, before we dive into the specifics, the following is an overview of Bridges operations.
With 4 prospective employment opportunities, a Bridges client can navigate the foundation in the following ways. A client, which is an individual with an intellectual disability, approaches Bridges as either an adult or as a high school student. Through programs such as the Work Adjustment Training Program, which is a partnership with local Oklahoma high schools, the Internal Workshop Program, which is a program that will be placed in the proposed outsourcing facility in which these individuals will do piece rate work, kitting and bagging work, and the proposed adult training program, these individuals will be supplied with the necessary job training in hopes of future employment. Once successful completion of these programs are completed, then they will be transferred to the Community Integrated Employment Program, which is a twofold operation in which they can either be employed with the Bridges Foundation under the Mercantile Shop or with local business partners in the community. With so many amazing employment opportunities provided to them, it is no surprise that the Bridges Foundation is currently facing high volumes of demand. With a market of 49,000 unemployed working-age individuals with disabilities in Tulsa, the Bridges Foundation is currently working with only 120 of them. Due to this, it is necessary that they find ways to accommodate their current demands. One of the ways in which they can accommodate their current demands is through ensuring that they have the necessary space to accommodate further clients. The solution to this is a proposed operational expansion of $28 million for 2 proposed facilities. The first being a training facility, which will consist of 240 clients at capacity and which would accommodate the Work Adjustment Training Program and the proposed Adult Training Program. The second being the outsourcing facility, which will accommodate 98 clients at capacity and consists of the 14 manufacturing and warehousing machines necessary. It is also necessary to explore the funding, potential revenues, and possible implementations to make this dream a reality.
Over the course of this semester, we have been tasked with the problems and solutions to be able to create this expansion plan for the Bridges Foundation. We have identified that the debt to philanthropy mix, earning potential, and potential variations for expansion are critical components of this project. Starting with our first problem, what will the earnings and offerings look like that will finance this expansion? We have created an integrated financial model with the 2 proposed facilities to predict both the revenues and expenses of this expansion. How can the Bridges Foundation fund this proposed expansion? We have identified a debt to philanthropy breakdown and found out that the Bridges Foundation can currently bear a $10 million loan with this expansion. And finally, what recommendations and variations can help make this project more viable or feasible? We have explored alternatives like renting or buying these facilities that will help the Bridges Foundation realize their goals. Now that we've talked about the problems of this project, we are now going to move into our financial model to give more context.
The proposed training facility will enable Bridges to cater 204 additional clients and generate $750,000 by the 5th year. In addition to these benefits, there is a 30,000 facility with specialized training rooms. This will include a restaurant simulation, a manufacturing environment, a retail store, and more. To create these training facility projections, we are operating under the following assumptions. Firstly, they are serving currently 36 individuals. At their full capacity, they are able to accommodate 240 additional clients. They are planning to have 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, which each section having 120 clients. For expenses, we use the total administrative salaries with a fixed cost of $150,000 and with a consolidated overhead expenses of $40,000. For the source of revenue, we use the constant revenue for the state, the consistent expenses, and overhead. They are currently working with the Disability Resource Services, which they give them $375 per client per month, and it remains constant.
The proposed outsourcing facility will be a new 50,000 square feet building with the ability to hold up to 98 clients and job coaches at capacity. With an expansion of this size, it is important to know the benefits that the Bridges Foundation will receive in the upcoming years. One being that by the end of the 5th year, they should expect to see a $700,000 in net income. Additionally, they should also expect to see 50% increase in the efficiency due to automation, and they should also expect to see a 30% increase in revenue due to additional contracts, all of which is presented in the financial model. This financial model was built on the following assumptions, the first being that we expect efficiency to increase due to the addition of the 14 new automation machines, along with the conversion of a piece rate to an average hourly rate. We also took into consideration the maintenance costs based on historical data in order to accurately represent the expenses the Bridges Foundation will expect to see in the upcoming years.
Now that we've broken down the two models for the separate buildings, the consolidated projections provide a clearer picture for the outlook and feasibility of this project, with a projected net income of $8.5 million over the next 5 years. It's important to note that in all of these models, year one is currently reflective of the historical data provided to us by the Bridges Foundation of their current operations, meaning that the revenues and expenses associated in year one are what the Bridges Foundation is currently operating with. The next thing that is important to note is that community integrated employment is included in this model. Community integrated employment is a revenue-heavy generator for the Bridges Foundation and contributes to the bottom line, but will not be housed within this facility expansion. And finally, the NPV for this project is currently negative. While this would typically be a detriment for a for-profit institution, with the Bridges Foundation being a nonprofit, this can be supplemented with the philanthropy and donations that they can possibly receive, and this is very critical to the project to understand how this funding can take place.
Bridges can finance the expansion of 2 new facilities with a mix of $90 million of philanthropic contributions and $10 million of debt. The debt amount was based on the current monthly earnings and our projections with a 7.3% interest, which is the mortgage interest rate in Oklahoma. They will also need to have $1 million deposit with a 30-year term. This arrangement will give them a month debt responsibility of $68,000. It's important to emphasize that Bridges currently doesn't have the deposit, but will need to come from the philanthropic side. Through our research and our interviews, we have identified numerous organizations that can make this expansion a reality, which we have identified this following: the Ann Herring Sarah Foundation, the Oklahoma City Community Foundation, and the George Casey Family Foundation. We definitely works and aligned with Bridges' mission to make Oklahoma, improve the life of Oklahomans.
Now that we've talked about how this could be funded, while 2 buildings would create more value for the Bridges Foundation, research suggests that renting the space could cost less and generate impact sooner. So through our research, we have identified the 3 most possible implementation plans for the Bridges Foundation, those being building, buying, and renting. If the Bridges Foundation were to build these facilities, it would cost $28 million in construction costs. This was given to them by a contractor in the Tulsa area based on a per square foot rate. The time to impact if they were to build would be at the end of year 3, and at the end of year 5, they will have been able to service 115 clients. Next, buying the facility. If they were to purchase the facility, it would cost approximately $13 million for the 2 facilities and acquisition costs. They would see time to impact in around 2 years after the necessary renovations and modifications to the buildings would take place, and they would see 221 clients served after 5 years. And finally, renting the space. If they were to rent the space, it would cost approximately $960,000 annually, and this was based on the average rental rate in the Tulsa area for warehouse space. The time to impact would be after year 1, and they would be able to impact 260 more clients.
That being said, with the research done and the financials model, the Bridges Foundation could look to do the following in the upcoming months. Firstly, identifying and verifying their debt capacity by sitting with mortgage lenders and the necessary stakeholders. Secondly, exploring philanthropic options. And finally, exploring the recommended implementation options to ensure that they choose the decision of best fit. While While the Bridges Foundation can expect to see profits from this expansion, it is important to note that the impact that they have in the local Tulsa area is invaluable, and this expansion not only will prove profitable, but allow them to further their impact in the community. That being said, we will now open the floor for questions and answers. Yes. Which one?
The MPV is also going to be negative at some point, right? I'm wondering what gives the MPV negative value if you have net income all the year?
The negative MPV came from the, to answer your question, it was where does the negative NPV come from whenever we have a positive net income? So the answer to that would be when dealing with this $28 million debt, if they're not able to receive the necessary philanthropic funds, these are just the projected revenues of this facility expansion. So actually trying to figure out where to source the income to be able to build these buildings is a separate issue, which we then address with the different implementation methods.
Are you paying off the debt in 5 years? Are you paying it off in 5? The debt?
No, we would not be able to pay off the debt in year 5 after this expansion. It would be a 30-year mortgage on the building if they were to go ahead and construct the facilities.
You see, my issue is with this line, the big one, the red one, that's certain income, right? So it seems like it's coming from here, right? But it's not really coming from here. I just want to know where this is coming from, this big red column.
It's the revenues minus the expenses, which gives us our net income, coming from our projected financial model that we created in a separate Excel document.
Yes.
If you go to the slide with the options for purchase, buying, and I mean, that looks to me like the break-even time would be like way like, I mean, it looks to me like rent's the obvious option there. So what do they get by actually deciding, for example, to build instead of just renting and get what they do?
So the question was, why did the Bridges Foundation prefer the building rather than the renting option? So whenever we were presented with this project, it was a preferred option that they would be able to have these as owned assets. But through our research, we started to find that the rental option might be more feasible. This will continue to be backed up by research, but this is just the details that we were presented with.
We have time for one more question. Yes.
On the same slide, did you evaluate the cost per client served for all 3 options?
So the question was, did we evaluate the cost per client served? Yes, we did, and this is also dependent on the route that they choose to take through the Bridges Foundation. So we made a flat rate to be able to assume the cost for the client served. So if that answers your question.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cassandra Rigsby. I'm the University Programs Director for I-CCEW. Before I get started, I just want to give all of these teams another round of applause, if you'll join me. What you saw today was just the tip of the iceberg of the work they've put in this semester. They have faced lots of challenges with these projects, but they have approached them with perseverance and dedication, and hopefully you saw that come through today. We'll be hosting a short reception in the lobby after the presentations if you'd like to grab anyone and ask them more questions. But before we wrap up, I like to wrap up each semester's presentations announcing our incoming interns. So some of them are here today, some of them are joining on the live stream. I'll go through all of their names, so please save your applause until the end. We have Matthew Anderson, Abby Brunert. I guess if you're here, raise your hand. Abby Brunert, Martin Bruno, Carissa Colombe, Nicholas Cordova Velasco, Kendall Cousins, Aja Garo, Alexis Chituka, Devin Newman, Najib Sela, Baylor Savage, Emily Schultz, Cal Smith, Reed Zainuddin, Tima Delimini, Modeste Rukundo, Jason Masili, Anita Namutebi, Eula Ali, Paul Gari, Rajiv Kumar, and Anane Gupta. Oh, and also Axel Sozu Dora. This incoming class represents a diverse group of students, lots of them studying different majors from all colleges on campus. So we're incredibly excited to have them join the program. If you want to see their final presentation, you can join us next semester. Lastly, I'd like to announce the few incoming team leaders that are here with us today. So leading our software development team next semester will be Basir Khan. Oh, he couldn't make it. On the live stream will be Sarah Kate Lay. And then also joining us as a junior fellow will be Caitlin Cotelier. Once again, thank you for attending and asking great questions and listening intently. Please join us in the lobby if you're able to. Thank you.